People think that they're building a business when they sign up to do this thing. And I'm like, no, babe, the business is not something you build. The business builds you. Revenue is simply feedback. Your leadership is simply your soul's curriculum. Well, hello, my beautiful spiritual hustlers, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Jess, and as always, I'm so honored to be here with you. Before we dive into today's topic, I want to tell you something right here and right now as we kick this off that gave me the biggest full body chills when I realized the timing of not only when this episode is dropping, which is on Tuesday, July 28th, but the window that we're in from a cosmic experience. And whether you're listening to this in real time or not, I just want you to tune into the frequency. Tomorrow is July 29th, and we are about to experience one of the most astrological alignments of the next 12 years, yes, but like our entire lives, all right? So Jupiter, the planet, I love me some Jupiter, that is traditionally associated with expansion and abundance and opportunity and growth, meets the sun in Leo tomorrow, okay? You're listening to this in the nucleus of your expansion. Astrologers call this day Jupiter Cazimi, and many consider it to be one of the luckiest, most fortunate days of the entire 12-year Jupiter cycle. Now, whether you follow astrology religiously like I do, I'm crazy about it, or casually or not at all, I want you to stay with me because this is fascinating. It's not about predicting the future here. The symbolism of this and what this means to you, the woman that is listening to this show, that I know, that I feel your heart, that I feel you on Instagram. This is our moment. We're inside the year of the fire horse. This is our year, and we're in Jupiter meets Leo on Jupiter Cazimi. And you do not have to be a Leo for this to matter. I know you're like, Jess, you're a Leo. Of course, you're excited about this, but this applies to all women on the planet at this time. Leo is the sign of the sovereign, the leader, the woman who is courageous enough to step out into the light and be seen. And I want that for you. The woman who finally, for fucking once and for all, stops apologizing for the size of her vision, her dreams, her missions, her deepest desires. And it's really interesting. I don't know about you, but the first half of this year, I felt like everything was actually fucking burning down. We arrive now at a moment symbolically that is asking us to no longer hide, to no longer be victims to what we just went through, but to really lead, to not retreat into the shadows, but to be seen in the light. This is your invitation, because if you were like me, the first half of this year probably asked you, whether you wanted it to ask you or not, what needs to fall away. Things had to die. Things had to be cleared. And the second half, and we were right here at that pivot point, asks you, what are you finally ready to build? And that brings me into today's conversation. What if the hardest thing that you walked through this year, and I don't know about you, it wasn't just one thing, it was many things, wasn't actually happening to you, but it was happening for you and the woman that you're becoming, because you're here on the Spiritual Hustler podcast with me, babe. And we don't play in victim consciousness. We are empowered, sovereign women. And almost every conversation that I've had with another female entrepreneur this year really sounded eerily familiar. Okay. My launch didn't go the way I expected it to go. My relationship ended. I had to let team members go. I don't know who the fuck I am anymore. I thought I was building the right business, the right career, and suddenly everything feels different. Women have been saying, what the fuck is happening? And after I caught my own breath, after my own fuckery of my own first half of 2026, my response to this has been, oh my God, the fire horse has arrived. It's fucking here. And the first half of this year had to feel like the fire, because fire is so powerful. It burns away illusion. It reveals weak foundations. It doesn't come in and negotiates. It just fucking takes. And it's taking away what can no longer come with you, what's not supposed to come with you. And I think so many women interpreted these first few months of this year as like failure and darkness and pain and hardship. And I don't. You should neither. It was all a gift. It was all an initiation. That is the feminine path, to walk through multiple cycles of death and rebirth. And the fire is one of the most potent elements we have. It introduces you, full stop, to the leader your higher self has been praying to become. Here's what I've learned. After building multiple businesses, leading teams of up to 100 people, writing books, being married for 14 years, evolving publicly, succeeding, failing, and starting again, through all of it, every level of leadership costs you an identity. You don't get to become that next bad bitch by band-aiding on some more strategies for the woman that you once were that worked for her, but it's not going to work for you. You become someone new by becoming unavailable for the version of yourself that can no longer carry your future. And today, that is exactly what we are talking about, because business is not just learning how to like run a team and grow a brand and build a P&L and make some money. Being an entrepreneur is a spiritual initiation. Becoming an entrepreneur is not a career path. It is a vehicle to personal realization, spiritual awakening, and quantum leaping on a soul level, available to every woman who decides to sign up for that role. Because your business is going to expose everything. Every fear you've had, every scarcity belief you have ever had, every people-pleasing tendency, every place where you feel like your worth is attached to being liked. Every place you've been outsourcing your authority. That one. People think that they're building a business when they sign up to do this thing. And I'm like, no, babe, the business is not something you build. The business builds you. Revenue is simply feedback. Your leadership is simply your soul's curriculum. And your business is constantly asking yourself, can you trust yourself? Can you stay visible when people misunderstand you? Hi, happens all the time. Can you make difficult decisions? You're going to need to do that multiple times a day. Can you receive support? One of the hardest things for us to do as women, receive. Can you expand your capacity to hold more wealth? Can you disappoint people without abandoning yourself? And those really aren't business questions. They're spiritual questions. Which means if you've had a difficult first half of this year, congratulations. You're in the classroom. You're not in detention. You're in the classroom. And isn't it fascinating that as we begin to step out of this fire, don't you feel it? Like the fire is done. And Jupiter has entered fucking Leo. In this moment, halfway through the year of the fire horse, this happens once in 60 years. Jupiter and Leo happens once in every 12 years. And to me, this symbolism could not be hitting us in our faces harder. It could not be clearer. You have done enough burning for the year. So let's see what happens when you allow yourself to finally shine. Because Leo, and remember, you don't have to be a Leo, doesn't ask women to be louder and wear like leopard print. It's just asking you to become more authentic, more in your heart. Leo is the sign of the heart, more present, less proving, more power. So many visionary women get stuck. And I know this because I have been her. They're trying to resurrect a version of themselves that frankly no longer exists. They keep saying, I just want things to be easier. I want to go back to when my business felt easier, before the hard conversation that I had to have, before the launch failed and I've got trauma, before my relationship ended and everything was better, my heart was full, back before everything changed. But back isn't available anymore, ever again. Leadership only moves in one direction, sister, and that is forward. And there's a phrase that I've been sitting with recently because I have a big tattoo of a butterfly on my ass, in case you didn't know. So I have a thing with butterflies. The caterpillar doesn't mourn becoming a butterfly. It elects to destroy itself in the chrysalis and turn into mush so that it can turn into that beautiful next version of itself that it was designed by God to become. Only human beings insist on grieving identities and lifetimes and timelines and relationships and past businesses that they've already outgrown. So maybe you're grieving the business you once had, the business owner you once were, the woman who said yes to everyone because it just was fucking easier, the woman who did everything by herself, the woman who overfunctioned and had relationships that served that woman because she overfunctioned, the woman who made herself smaller than her calling. I just got the chills. This is the woman who is done believing that exhaustion was proof of her success. And I want you to honor her. I want you to love her. I want you to thank her. She was a badass. She got you here, but she cannot take you there. One of the biggest lies that we have been sold is that the next strategy, the next hack, the next framework creates that next level, when in reality, it's your identity that actually determines everything. It determines your ability to execute that strategy. Wealth does not amplify in your bank account. It amplifies in your identity. Money makes you more of who you already are. Visibility magnifies what's already inside of you. Leadership makes your patterns louder. And this is why I always say you can't chase the wealth. You have to start with your purpose first, then the worth, then the wealth comes, never in reverse order. And women I work with say to me all the time, Jess, I'm going to feel confident when I hit the 6 figures. I'll hire that person after I make that amount of money. I'll become the CEO really once my business gets bigger. No. You become her first. It's a fucking decision. And then the business catches up. Identity creates the outcome, not the opposite. Which is why this season feels so significant. So many astrologers view Jupiter's journey through Leo as this ultimate season of courage and leadership and creative expression and visibility and abundance. So if you've been feeling this nudge, and I know so many of you had to speak more boldly, to say the thing, to launch the offer, to finally say yes unapologetically to that vision that has been sitting inside of your heart, I want you to trust her. Trust that nudge. Sometimes your intuition speaks first. In fact, most of the time it does. And life will simply move to meet you when you move. So here is why I'm so excited about the second half of this year. If you couldn't tell, because the second half belongs to the builders, because the fire already did its job. Thank you. I love you. I bless you. I release you. And now the horse is here to take the reins for the next 7 months. And I freaking love horses. It's my power animal. Shaman told me that in Santa Fe in 2020. That's besides the point. Horses represent something so incredibly potent and powerful. They represent momentum, girl. Movement, power, freedom, direction. And if the first half was here to burn away anything, it was to burn away what wasn't sustainable. And the second half is here, and it is asking us all, what are you finally willing to build? Not from your old patterns of survival and proving yourself and from hustle, but from fucking sovereignty. And I don't think that the timing could be more extraordinary for this, okay? On August 12th, as if this doesn't get any better, right in the middle of the biggest event and activation for feminine CEOs everywhere, my event, the Feminine Wealth Ignite Experience, which I'm going to tell you about shortly, we're experiencing a total solar eclipse in Leo. Okay, astrologically, eclipses are often seen as moments of profound breakthroughs, transitions. They don't encourage change. They quantum leap you into it. They reveal it instantaneously. And this solar eclipse in Leo that's happening on August 12th is asking a really powerful question. Because it's Leo, baby, and it's the solar eclipse, the sun, the light. And the question is, who are you when the spotlight goes out? Who are you really? How are you truly leading from your truth? Do you know who the fuck you are? Because that is the fire horse question. How do I become more impressive? But how do I become more authentic? The women that step into the Feminine Wealth Ignite aren't just attending another virtual event. They know that. My events are full on portals. Okay. They are leadership portals that they are stepping into. And it is a moment to consciously choose who they will become in this next chapter with the power of the sky behind us all. My events are not webinars. They are straight up activations. And then September is going to arrive, you guys, and we're in Virgo season. And it's a little less inspiration-like and more about devotion, less dreaming, more actually building. And that's where businesses are actually created. And then later this fall, Jupiter appears to slow and turn inward. And it's a beautiful reminder to integrate everything you've learned. I'm giving you the cosmic roadmap for you to think about when it comes to your business for the next 6 months. And I really want you to ask yourself along the way, when you turn around at the end of this fire horse year, the question is not, what did I accomplish? But who did I become? That's the difference between temporary motivation and permanent transformation. So if you couldn't tell by now, this is not just another season. It's an initiation. I fucking love initiations. They're painful, but they're magic. In the first half of 2026 asked, what had to burn? And then the second half is now asking, what deserves to be built? So if this resonated with you today, and tomorrow, July 29th, I'm going to remind you, is a day that many astrologers describe as one of the most supportive moments in this entire 12-year Jupiter cycle for setting bold intentions and beginning something meaningful. I cannot encourage you enough to work with these universal energies, you guys. My life has changed, transformed, upgraded when you start to attune to these truly powerful, real energies and connect to them. You work with them consciously. It changes everything. So if you have been waiting for a sign, let this podcast be it. Make the decision today, register, say yes to yourself, plant the seed. Luck is not something that simply happens to us. It's not, despite popular opinion. Most of the time, it's what meets us after we fucking decide to move. In just a couple of weeks, on August 11th, 12th, and 13th, I'm going to be hosting the Feminine Wealth Ignite. It is a completely free 3-day leadership and business acceleration experience for visionary women who are ready to build what's next. And so together, we're going to explore how to lead yourself first, how to build a business that creates momentum instead of burnout, and integrate all of this incredible business strategy. I'm taking you behind the scenes of my 8-figure business with spirituality, so you can move into 2027 as the CEO that your vision has been waiting for your entire career. So if you've been thinking to yourself today, as you've been listening to this, Jess, this is exactly where I am. I want you in that room. You need to be in that room. Because I truly believe that there are so many women on the planet right now who are still standing after the fire for a reason. They are the woman that is about to go build the most extraordinary business of their life. The fire did not break you. It introduced you to who you really are. I was right there with you. And now it's time to meet her and run with her. So I will see you at the Feminine Wealth Ignite. I want you to sign up free in the link below in the show notes. And I will see you during the solar eclipse in Leo, cosmic portal. Could it get any better? On August 11th. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you on the next episode of the Spiritual Hustler Podcast. Bye, guys.